What's up, everybody? It's Jack here. I'm back for part 2 of this video. We're be doing the NL division winners and wild card. I'm gonna be sticking to a couple of my predictions, but for the most part, it's gonna be some different teams in those spots. So let's get right into it. Starting off with the NL East, I am sticking to my prediction of the Atlanta Braves winning the division. Braves, I think, could maybe win the World Series. They have that good of a team. You look at their team last year. I mean, they were one game away from making the NLCS, and you know they added to that team. They added Marcell Ozuna, Will Smith, Cole Hamels, Travis d'Arnaud. I mean, that's crazy. So just a whole new team this year. Granted, they did lose Josh Donaldson, but I think overall, I mean, they really improved their team. Have a pretty good rotation. That's the weakest point of their team, probably. Have Soroka, but they still have Soroka, Cole Hamels, Fultonevich, Newcomb. Someone else is pretty good. Max Fried, that's it. So they have a good starting rotation for the most part. Their bullpen is very, very good. Don't say their bullpen. No, they have a good bullpen. You got Will Smith, Mark Melancon. They re-signed Shane Green. They re-signed Chris Martin. I'm not sure if Chris Martin or Chris Rusin, who the better one is, but I know one of them is very good. Just getting a little confused out here. Then moving on to their lineup, they probably have one of the best lineups in the MLB. And I mean that seriously. Got a great platoon for catching with d'Arnaud and Flowers. Usually a team that wins the World Series has two good catchers. Case in point, Washington Nationals with Kurt Suzuki and Yan Gomes, and they have d'Arnaud and Tyler Flowers. First base, they probably have the best first baseman in the game in Freddie Freeman. They got Ozzie Albies, great underrated player. They got Austin Riley at third. Hopefully he'll hit a lot of bombs this year. Got Dansby Swanson. We'll see if he can add on to the pretty good year he had last year. They got Adam Duvall in right field, Acuna in center. And then their addition, Marcell Ozuna. I really like Marcell Ozuna. I think he's a great player. A lot of people kind of crap on him for, he's not a very good fielder. He doesn't hit for average very well. I think Marcell Ozuna is a really good player. Yeah, he's not the greatest fielder, but he is a decently good hitter for average. He's got a ton of power, and he always has a ton of RBIs and a pretty good on-base percentage. And for all those Marcell Ozuna haters, he hit fourth last year on a team that made it to NLCS. So, okay, bud. Whoever's arguing there in the background. I mean, Marcell Ozuna is a really good player, and he's their four-hitter to replace Josh Donaldson. Great replacement there. I don't think he's better than Josh Donaldson, but it's a really good replacement. I don't have the Mets in my playoffs. I have the Nats as a wild card, but I don't have the Mets in my playoffs anymore. They lost Noah Syndergaard, which is detrimental to their rotation. Now you get Stroman, who moves up to their number 2, and Matz/Porcello is your third starter. That's not really a team that makes the playoffs. And their bullpen, after talking to my uncle, he said, their bullpen, my uncle's a huge Mets fan, their bullpen is a huge question mark. Will Edwin Diaz bounce back? I don't know. Will Betances be good? I mean, I assume so, but, again, I don't know. He's pitched like one game in like 2 years. Their only consistent bullpen pitcher they have is Seth Lugo. Familia will probably be good again, but I don't know. Their bullpen's a big question mark, and their lineup is okay. But compared to the NL East, it's really not. It's like they have an okay lineup. But moving on, we're gonna move on to the NL Central, which I do have an updated prediction. My winner for the NL Central is the Cincinnati Reds. It's just, with a 60-game season, it's too hard not to take the Reds. I mean, they have the best starting rotation in the MLB. I know I said last time that the Rays do, but no, the Cincinnati Reds do. Them or the Rays have the best top 3. They got Trevor Bauer, Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo, who was lights out. They have Wade Miley, that was a great pickup, and Anthony DeSclafani is their number 5. So really solid rotation. Their lineup is really, really good. Um, they got Joey Votto, Eugenio Suarez, Tucker Barnhart, really underrated. I'm not sure if Scooter Gennett will be back for this season. Um, he probably won't actually be playing. But they acquired Moustakis and Nick Castellanos to their team, which is huge. So I mean, they really added 2 really quality hitters to that lineup. They still have Nick Senzel, and Freddie Galvis will be playing shortstop. I don't know how Aquino works in this lineup. He'll probably DH, I assume. Um, but again, that's another huge threat, and we'll see what that Japanese player they got, what he'll do. Shogo Akiyama, we'll see what he can contribute. The only question mark about the Reds is their bullpen. They do have Michael Lorenzen, who's great. I like Raisel Iglesias. He did not have a good year last year. Maybe he'll bounce back. Amir Garrett, though, as your number 1 lefty in the pen is a bit of a question mark, but I don't know. Maybe he'll be good this season. But it's just too hard not to take the Reds. I had the Cubs originally, but comparing them with the Cubs, they have a better rotation than the Cubs. Their lineup maybe like a little worse, but it's still really close. And then the Cubs bullpen is horrible, and the Reds bullpen it's not very good, but it's better than the Cubs. So that's why I'm taking the Cubs. I can't take the Brewers because their rotation is just too horrible. I'm sorry. They got rid of Zach Davies and replaced him with Eric Lauer, who's not good at all. Their number 1 is Woodruff. Is Brendan Woodruff even a number 1 starter? I don't think so. He's very good. He could also get hurt. He throws 100 every pitch. So, we'll see. But the rotation's just too thin. And then moving on to the Cardinals. I can't see them winning the division, losing Marcell Ozuna. I think that's a huge hit to their lineup. I still think Paul DeYoung's great, filling in as that 4-hitter, but you're just losing so much pop in your lineup. And the rotation's good and their bullpen's good, but they're just too mediocre to win the division, to be honest. The Reds just have more talent than them. Simple as that. And so moving on, the last division in the NL, which is the NL West, guys. I think you know who I'm going to take in the NL West to win the division. Obviously, I'm staying with my prediction of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They did lose David Price, which is, that does hurt. But they still have a really good team. Kershaw, Buehler, Julio Arias, Dustin May. Just a really solid rotation. Maybe we'll see Josiah Gray. I don't know. But really solid rotation. Bullpen. They added Blake Trinan. They still have Kenley Jansen. They still have Pedro Baez. And is that all they have in their bullpen? They may have someone else in their bullpen. And then the lineup, which is great. I know I say every team has a good lineup, that's making the playoffs. They have a great lineup. Obviously adding, all-star Mookie Betts to their lineup, makes me sad just coming out of my mouth. They did lose Alex Verdugo, obviously, but, they replaced him with Mookie Betts. So, with the second best position player in the MLB, that's going to pay dividends to the lineup. You got Betts leading off, Muncy probably hitting second. I love Max Muncy. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the MLB. Third, you got Justin Turner. Still think Justin Turner is great. Cody Bellinger. Did he win MVP 2 years ago? I believe so. I'm not sure though. But Cody Bellinger's awesome. They have Corey Seager, Will Smith, who's a great young catcher who showcased his skills last year. Kike, and I'm probably forgetting somebody. Gavin Lux. Yeah, Gavin Lux. So I mean, great lineup overall. And so I think the Dodgers are kind of a consensus winner there. And then moving on to our wild card, and then as for like that division, I mean, second place, I don't know who's going to finish second because the Diamondbacks all around have a pretty solid team. They have a good lineup and a good rotation. Bullpen isn't very good. Padres, I just don't know if they can do it with that rotation that they have. but we'll see. And we're gonna get to my wild card prediction. But anyways, for our first wild card, we have the Washington Nationals, defending World Series champs. You know, they still got Scherzer coming back, Strauss and Corbin. Got Anibal. Joe Ross opted out, but that doesn't matter. He's not very good. And then Austin Voth as their 5. So that's a really good starting rotation. Top 5 in the MLB. And then their bullpen, they added Will Harris. I thought it was a bad contract that they added him on, but you know they still added depth to their bullpen. They still have Daniel Hudson, Sean Doolittle, Tanner Rainey, who could be a stud this season. He is so nasty. He throws 100, and if he has a good slider, he could be like one of the best relievers in the MLB. Tanner Rainey could be so nasty. And then moving to their lineup, obviously, you know, they do lose Anthony Rendon, which really, ooh, that hurts. You know, probably, I assume he'll hit third for them. It's probably Starlin Castro. If I were the Nats, I would have the same lineup for the World Series. You know, I'd have Turner, Eaton, and then fill the 3-hole with Starlin Castro, and then have Juan Soto, Howie Kendrick, Yan Gomes, I guess, will catch for them. Carter Kieboom will probably be in their lineup too. So good to see him. They also have Eric Thames. So, you know, and Robles, of course. So it's a little bit weaker of a lineup, which is why I don't have them winning the division. But I still have them making the first wild card, just because that rotation and bullpen is so good. And their lineup is decent, but it's just can't compare with like the Braves, or yeah. And then for my last wild card, guys, I've been thinking about this. I mean, this is just, oh my God, I just don't really know, you know, who to say. There's so many teams that I could have as my wild card. I could have the Phillies. I could have the Mets. I don't have the Mets though. I could have the D-backs, the Padres. I could have the Cubs, Cardinals. But in the end, I wind up and I'm choosing the San Diego Padres to be our 5th wild card spot. A lot of you are going to be shocked by this, but I think the Padres can do it this year with a 60-game season. You know, you look at their rotation, it's their weakest part of their team, but they have Chris Paddock. Hopefully Zach Davies will be consistent. Garrett Richards can contribute. They have Quantrill. Maybe we'll see Mackenzie Gore. I think we will. And if Mackenzie Gore's in that rotation, that's pretty solid. I'm forgetting someone else, Joey Lucchesi, who's another consistent starter. And then it only gets better after that. They have the best bullpen in the MLB. Their bullpen is insane. They got the best closer in the MLB. No, he's not the best closer. But, you know, top 5 MLB closer, Kirby Yates, you know, just lockdown. Doesn't blow saves and has, you know, top 5 in saves for the past 2 years. And then they added Emilio Pagan from the Tampa Bay Rays. Awesome addition. If you guys didn't watch the Rays in the playoffs last year, you don't know who he is, but he was awesome for the Rays last year in the playoffs and at the end of the regular season. Just nasty. I mean, he throws really hard. Great off-speed pitch. Just knows what he's doing. Throws strikes. So he's probably the best setup man in the MLB. Just looking at, you know, other bullpens. You know, maybe you could argue that. I don't know, but Emilio Pagan is awesome. They also added Drew Pomeranz, who was great for the Brewers in the playoffs last year. Throws 95, and, you know, just looked really good in the playoffs last year in the regular season for the Brewers. Really helped them out. They have Craig Stammen, who I like. I mean, if he's your 4th best bullpen pitcher, that's pretty good bullpen. And they have the flamethrower Anthony Munoz. I'm not sure what his full name is. But, you know, he throws like 102, and, you know, he can get people with his stuff. Then moving on to the lineup, they have arguably the best top 4 in the MLB with Fernando Tatis, Tommy Pham, Manny Machado, and Eric Hosmer. Arguably the best top 4 in the MLB. And then after that's a bit of a drop-off. You got Will Myers, who had a great second half last year. Jurickson Profar. I think Francisco Mejia can step up hitting this year. And I'm forgetting somebody else, and I don't know who it is. Oh, Trent Grisham. So a decent lineup. I think they will make it because of how good their bullpen is. I really would like to. I mean, I think I wouldn't be surprised if Arizona's the fifth wild card, just because they're so solid all around. But Arizona's bullpen isn't very good. But they do have a very consistent rotation, and their lineup isn't as good as the Padres, I don't believe. It's still very solid with Peralta, Marte, and Eduardo Escobar, Christian Walker, and that catcher they have, who I can't remember, is Carson Kelly. But I just think the Padres will win here just because their bullpen is so good. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching. Comment, subscribe, anything. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys later.